I'm in Shanghai and at the beautiful, world-famous Pudong skyline. It's hard to imagine that this modern, bustling metropolis, with its gleaming skyscrapers and vibrant streets, was once the backdrop to the harrowing and brutal Battle of Shanghai, where relentless conflict and devastation unfolded amidst its urban landscape. Welcome back to Lessons from the Front, and today our club, Fireteam Elias, will be refighting the Battle of the Sihang Warehouse, which marked the beginning of the end of the 3-month Battle of Shanghai in the opening phase of the Second Sino-Japanese War. Look out for part 2 of this mini-series, which will cover the background and design of our club's game. In the meantime, let's head over to the battlefield and get into the action. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. And welcome to the defense of the Sihang Warehouse. So today you'll be transported back to the front line of one of the most iconic battles of the Second Sino-Japanese War. A battle so fierce that Nationalist General Fang Yuxiang, he described it as a furnace where every day after sending in a unit it would just immediately melt away. It was hectic. He said that they'd send in a unit, within 3 hours 50% casualties, within 5 hours there was only 1/3 left of that unit, so it was just like a melting pot. Some historians refer to this battle, the Battle of Shanghai, as China's Stalingrad. I don't know why Stalingrad isn't referred to as China's Battle of the Sihang Warehouse. But anyway, our battle takes place towards the end, the very end of the Battle of Shanghai, in October 1937, amidst the chaos of that terrible battle. And you will take on the roles of the Chinese defenders and the Japanese attackers, in what I hope will be a gripping contest of strategy and resourcefulness. The Sihang Warehouse over here, which had served as the 88th Regiment's headquarters during the Battle of Shanghai, was chosen by what's his name? Chiang Kai-shek. That's his name, yes? Again? Yes, Chiang Kai-shek. Yes, Chiang. All right, can never get that one right. And he chose it as a strategic stronghold with two purposes. One, to put on a show for the international community. That was over here, so it's right on the banks of the Suzhou Creek. The international community all watching this battle with the hope of winning international favor in decisions that had to be made about how peace would be attained in China. And the other objective was to use it as a distraction for the Japanese so that more and more Chinese units could escape Shanghai to relative safety. Representing the 524th Regiment today will be Jared. Give him a round of applause. Playing as both Lieutenant Colonel Xia, the new Deputy Commander of the battalion, and Major Yang Rui Fu, who was well known and respected by his men and who effectively took command on the day. Alfred and Yifeng will be supporting Jared as his commanders, and when Darren has some time, he'll pop in as well and play with the Chinese. Zul's, where's Zul? Zul, you're going to be commander of the Japanese forces today, and the Bill over there, he's going to be commander of the Japanese naval forces. The Japanese main goal of the day is to capture this warehouse. Whilst Jared, Alfred and Ife deployed their platoons on table, restricted to only one platoon within 6 inches of the warehouse at deployment, I gave Zul and his team an opportunity to plan their attack in the adjacent room out of sight of what the Chinese players were doing. Zul and his team had strict instructions that no further planning or gaming cooperation would be permitted once the game began. If they were caught doing so, the Chinese team would immediately be awarded 1 victory point. Careful planning was therefore required. Zul had to commit to paper where each of his 6 Japanese platoons would be arriving, as can be seen in this diagram. Okay, so let's hear from the commanders themselves.
So let me just tell you a bit about the plan we're going to have for this battle. So right now what we have in mind is a sort of flexible arrangement for our defense.
We set up a medium machine gun position on the far right side of the warehouse, directly facing one of the 2 roads heading towards Sihang Warehouse to cover our right flank. This machine gun would also provide supporting fire for Alfred's troops where possible. On the ground floor, we had 1 squad of infantry and an anti-tank rifle team blocking both of the main entrances into the warehouse. Our anti-tank team also faced the road so it could fire upon any incoming Japanese armored vehicles. Right above the infantry squad on the ground level is a sniper team, which I plan to use to provide supporting fire for the troops below and eliminate high-value targets such as officers and NCOs. On our left flank, Yifei and I set up 2 medium machine gun positions, one on the far left of the warehouse and one atop the communications bank building, which we could use to fire upon the open space in front of the warehouse and create a killing zone for Japanese troops. Most of Yifei's troops were positioned inside the communications bank and nearby buildings, and would likely be locked into a close quarters battle with Japanese forces very quickly. Thus, we made plans for him to withdraw to the warehouse and occupy defensive positions if unable to hold.
Right, so now that we have the details of the Chinese plan for defending the warehouse, let's have a quick listen to what the naval and army commanders had to say, and I've asked them to keep it short.
Hi, I'm Nabil. Today I'm playing as the Imperial Japanese Navy. So today's objective, right? I'm supposed to get a victory for the Navy. I'm actually not going to follow along with what the Imperial Japanese Army commander says. I'm in it to win it today. Yeah.
So tell me where you got your beautiful cap from.
From Japan. I mean, that's where else would you get it from, right? Hi, I'm Zul. I am today's commander of the Imperial Japanese Army, and our objective is to capture the Shagnhai Warehouse.
Alright then, so neither the Navy nor the Army giving too much information away there. What you may have picked up is an interesting twist that I attempted to bring into this game, where I'd have a third antagonist, not just the Chinese against the Army, but also the Navy working for themselves, attempting to gain an outright victory for the Special Naval Landing Forces.
Yeah, Navy!
But you guys,
Who's going to win today? Right, so in order to make this after-action report a little more manageable for myself and for you, the viewers, I'm going to break the report down into sections according to where the action was taking place. I'll start off with Alfred's defense of the station, where Tam, Milton and Samuel were attacking from the right of the photograph. And then I'll move to the left of the bridge, where Eugene Lim's Japanese infantry was attacking through the center of the table, through the ruins, directly at the warehouse. And then we'll move our focus to where Zul, the Imperial Japanese Army commander, along with Xia, attacked. That's position 3 and 4. And then, according to this photograph, we'll move to positions 1 and 2, where Nabil's Special Naval Landing Forces were attacking from the west through the bank of communications towards the warehouse. So let's get the action going by moving across to position 6 on the map, where the Japanese were attacking the railway station.
First contact came with a squad of Taiwanese colonials climbing out the crane.
already started with the Navy and the Army, so might as well add one more lah.
Weapons down there will give you boost.
Hey, that one is for Mosun troops, right?
Yeah.
Their return mortar fire pinned my squad as they took cover behind a wall of sandbags. Under cover of more mortar fire, one Japanese squad managed to enter the eastern wing of the station. As the order to fall back was given, withering fire from the Japanese inside the ground floor of the station killed my commander and his bodyguard. This trapped my two squads on the roof. Japanese squads were now deployed all along the ground floor of the train station, and they were preparing for an assault onto my rooftop squads. However, the Western squad, on hearing Japanese commands, shouted, "Brace for an assault which came soon enough."
Wait, we settled that.
Alright, settle that.
Hand-to-hand combat. How many? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 versus your 2, 10. Okay. Your NCO got submachine gun?
Yep. Should be
Got man?
the movie they want to do.
Got. I got 6 rifles. You got
also had a video about this battle also.
no physically. You see,
I remember.
you need to see physically.
What's the 5 episodes
Okay, you got 1.
Yang and
Okay, so you got to have
really good.
1 dice.
Different.
1 dice different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
We got one SMG.
1 SMG. 1 SMG. So you got 10 and 1 different.
10 and 1.
9 and 1 different. Sorry.
And then the wakes.
Yeah, very cool.
4, 6, 7, 8. You want to get a silver dice? Yeah. 9 and 1 different. 1 silver dice.
Okay. Then we roll simultaneously. Okay, I got 1, 2, 3,
So all sixes.
3, 4, 5 hits.
Oh shit.
And you got only 1 hit.
Oh lost.
Then you roll this one and see whether how many does it kill again?
Yeah, so many targets of opportunity, but still nothing.
4.
No, doesn't kill.
Like nah.
So you lost. The whole squad gets wiped.
They defected to the Swiss Army. This is Switzerland.
Whole squad is wiped.
Switzerland. And it's a bank.
James lost.
Switzerland.
Wow. Very good.
That's really brutal, huh?
When the smoke cleared from the fighting, all the Japanese were silenced and 4 Chinese were martyred as heroes. With this, my armored car and truck proceeded towards the main warehouse positions.
And this brings us to position 5 on the table, with Eugene Lim's drive through the ruins and up the road towards the warehouse. Just as he was entering the ruins, there was a nasty surprise, with the Chinese having laid booby traps in the ruins. Let's hear from Eugene.
Right now, apparently one of my unit has hit a landmine, and now I need to roll to kill
Alright,
own guys.
alright. You need to roll a lot of ones.
I need to roll all ones. Let's go! No!
One survives.
One survived and all died.
Oh, the rest are all dead. Despite the initial setback in the ruins, Eugene pressed forward towards his objective.
The column started to rush forward with the tankard, committing my armored car. Fired upon one squad of Japanese, giving them some casualties.
Eugene Lim showed great resolve in this battle. His forces had been torn apart by that nasty booby trap set by the Chinese in the ruins, and devastated by enfilade fire from Alfred's 222. Yet his squads raced across the open ground to hurl themselves at the defenders dug in at ground level. His tankette rushed forward to take on the anti-tank gun at the entrance. Eugene Lim's tankette was soon a burning wreck. But let's check in with them to see how those close assaults were going.
Hi!
Alright, so tell us what's been happening with your Japanese force.
Alright, so apparently I've been trying to break in
Yeah?
with a total of three squads and one captain.
Right, so 3 squads, 1 captain, try to break into the warehouse.
No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Sorry, 4. Yeah, man. Apparently one survived, and then the rest all 3 wiped.
Wow, how do they actually get wiped out?
Well, I lost to the hand-to-hand combat. Apparently, the Chinese are very good at hand-to-hand combat.
I see that.
Sadly, I lost.
So was it in close combat that you lost 4 units?
Yeah, I've lost 4 units. All gone. Only one survived, which went in.
So you got one guy, one squad
One squad
has
in,
gone
the rest
in.
all wiped.
And so, after a great effort with massive casualties, Eugene finally had a squad enter the warehouse. Now, let's move over to see how Zul and Xia were doing at positions 3 and 4.
Although Eugene Lim's platoon were taking heavy casualties, Shah and I were able to press forward on our right. Shah faced tough opposition from Yi Fei in the rubble of the ruins. But was eventually able to destroy the Chinese resistance there and break through towards the warehouse. In the meanwhile, my major, who had been given the special ability of forward air observer, called in an air attack. Which shot down the flag, but then immediately flown again by the defenders of the warehouse. With the risk of hitting international concessions and especially the natural gas storage tank, I was sure to use artillery sparingly. I therefore supported Eugene's ground attack against level 1 and was able to eventually break into the warehouse.
Okay, let's hang 10 there for a moment and interrupt the progress of the Japanese army and move our focus away from Zul's progress to positions 1 and 2 on the table, where Nabil was commanding the Special Naval Landing Forces with their drive through the bank of communications towards the western side of the warehouse.
So looking at the map as the Japanese naval player, looking at how much urban terrain I had to walk through, I realized that if I don't clear it fast, it's going to be a killing field. So I tried to rush my troops as fast as possible. Seeing the Chinese squads within the buildings themselves, I realized that firing my weapons are not going to be much help given the cover that they have. So the only other way is to really rush in as well and try to get into hand-to-hand combat as fast as possible. And my fears were immediately realized when my Type 87 armored car tried to move up the street. I saw what I thought was an officer at the side of the one of the buildings. As I tried to move up my armored car, he ran out and then blew up my armored car. So it turned out to be a suicide attacker that blew up my armored car in the first round. It was really quite devastating for the naval forces, losing that one bit of armor for the whole game. But as a naval player, I still had to push on. I saw within the ruins, the Chinese army player actually set a lot of ambush on his troops. So as I tried to move my troops through the buildings, they were actually caught in a kill box, getting fired upon from elevated positions from the buildings. So I took quite a bit of losses there.
What have you done so far?
So we had a great early success.
Yeah.
The Japanese came within our rifle shot firing range,
Yeah.
and we took out 5 of them.
Yeah.
And one of our anti-tank suicide teams took out the armored vehicle.
Wow, that's brilliant. Well done.
Thank you.
And that's like first round, right?
First round, yes.
So to counter this, I tried to lay as much smoke as I can. Thankfully, the dice were with me on this, and I got to lay down smoke and push my troops up to the buildings as well as to the bank of communications. Then within the Bank of Communications, historically the Japanese placed some of their artillery, but for me I saw that it was also of tactical value within the game, where if I needed to push my troops up to the warehouse, I needed to clear the building because the Chinese squads were currently occupying it and they could potentially shoot me from behind. So I pushed up one of my naval squads up into the building, and they got into immediate hand-to-hand combat with the Chinese squads. So my troops were thankfully fanatic. They had the fanatic special rule, which means that they could continue on fighting even though they lose the first round of combat. And initially I lost my first round of combat, but the next round I won, and I was able to disperse the Chinese squads from the bank and capture the bank itself. So at this point, I was looking at the Japanese army and their front lines, and they were quite bearing down on the warehouse. So I realized I really had to push through the streets and just push for the warehouse. So my troops, committed to the run orders, and I tried to use my snap tools as well. But the Chinese were also quite cunning in the sense that they laid back some of their squads, and there was a couple of hand-to-hand combat that happened on the streets as well. Was an instance in the game where the two officers, my major and one of the officers from the Chinese side, they actually got into hand-to-hand combat. So it was quite dramatic to see the Chinese sword up against the Japanese katana on the tabletop.
So Captain Zhibao has just run out of the Bank of Communications, and now he's preparing to one-on-one assault a Japanese officer.
Alright, so what are the odds?
Yep.
What are the odds? It's 50-50. So his is veteran, mine is veteran, so we both need to roll like 5s and above.
Yep.
So we'll see what
It's very a bar fight. Yeah.
Good luck.
Oh, deep breath. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Let's go! Wait, is it 1v1?
All right, so he's got he's fanatic, so he can carry on fighting.
Yes.
So it's one guy dies, right?
Mine is one guy. Yeah.
Oh my
All right, so it's two against one.
Initially, the Japanese lost the first round, but I think they got one of the Chinese officers. But in the end, the Japanese officer lost. So by this point, the Japanese army were at the front door, literally, of the warehouse, and my naval squads, they were behind the warehouse. So I thought there wasn't much of a chance, but I still tried. I got to one of the warehouse entrances, cleared out a Chinese squad, and I needed, for the next round, my dice to be drawn first from the dice bag in order to stand a chance of entering the warehouse and raising my Japanese naval flag on the warehouse roof.
So with Eugene Lim and Zul both having entered the warehouse from the front, and Nabil representing the Navy having entered it from behind, who is going to win this game? Could it be the Chinese have a trick up their sleeve? Let's go to Jared now and hear from him.
Our plan had been going well thus far. We had given the attackers a great many casualties as they stormed towards our positions. And although Alfred, Ife and I were feeling the pressure from the 3 Japanese sections that had finally broken into the warehouse, we were also confident of victory. The objective set by Eugene for the Chinese had been to accumulate 10 victory points, and by the start of turn 6, we were already on 9. We had secured 6 points by having the national flag, which had been delivered to us by Yang Huimin, flying at the end of each turn. Captain Zhibao's return to the warehouse had earned us another, and sending a list of names of the defenders to the international concessions gave us our 8th victory point. Eugene's game design did not allow the Japanese platoon commanders the freedom to coordinate strategy once at the table. So, when Eugene caught Zul and Eugene Lim breaching that rule, we had earned a 9th victory point. The evacuation of teams into the international zone would secure us a 10th and an outright victory, and hence I had begun to gradually bring teams out of the warehouse, and they were ready. After having secured permission from across the Suzhou Creek to move across Tibet Road, all we needed was for the order dice to be in our favor.
So how many units have you moved into the truck?
12 in total. Oh,
No.
One.
5 units.
5 units in the truck.
Wow.
Wow. That seems like they're evacuating the warehouse.
And next, since we have another order dice, which I'm going to give to Alfred, we're going to drive off
Okay,
into.
we're gonna run this away.
No, you can't. You can't. Because you already redeployed this. It's already moved.
Oh, shoot.
Okay.
Right.
Oh.
So do something else with your dice.
Okay.
This is round about the end of the battle. We're looking at the 30th of October 1937, and I'm going to draw a dice to see who moves first. Quite crucial, I think. I'm not looking. Not looking. First dice out is Japanese. First dice.
Let's go. You know what I say? When you have to do.
Sometimes,
yeah. Also, I'm heading up to the.
Yeah.
Yeah. We run past the Navy and say hi. Although it's late, total victory if a unit successfully flies the Empire's flag from the warehouse flagpole.
Okay,
It's
what you
achieved
want?
by having unit enter the warehouse and we auto won.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Thank you, Eugene, for organizing.
Right, so first of all, well done to the Imperial Japanese Army. You guys have won the day in the nick of time. The Empire of Japan's flag is flying on the warehouse before the Chinese or the Japanese Navy were able to gain victory. There were, in fact, 3 antagonists in this game. So what you guys don't know is that Nabil was actually playing for himself.
Yeah.
So Nabil could have won this game. He came very close. He got on the roof. And you want to read your victory thing?
Yeah, so I was given this at the start. Japanese rivalry between the Empire's Navy and Army was fierce. If an SNLF squad raises their flag on the warehouse rooftop before an IJA squad, immediate victory and glory will go to the Navy. Keep this secret from IJA players, they don't get this victory option.
Alright, so he could have won. He's on the roof, but he didn't get the flag up in time. So bad luck, very close, Imperial Japanese Navy. Let's give him a round of applause. Then what's really interesting is that credit goes to the Japanese for never hitting the international concession. Had you done that somewhere in the game, they would have won, because the Chinese end up on 9 victory points. They needed 1 more to win. They were very, very close. They were just 1 victory point away. But you've snatched victory away from them. So let's give, first of all, the Chinese players a round of applause. Well done. And can we come around here? We're going to ask the Japanese to do their banzai. Right, so who's won this battle? Who's won? Banzai! Banzai! Army beat Navy! Well done, the Army beat the Navy! That was really one of the best games we've played at our club. Well done to everyone for great participation. And it was especially nice that the game was so close, with all 3 antagonists having a real chance of victory right at the end of the game after 6 hours of gameplay. Please do look out for part 2, during which I'll be sharing how I scratch built the warehouse for this big game. I'll also be sharing some of the behind the scenes moments, and also the reasons for some of the gaming mechanisms that I used in this large game. I'll also be talking to my friend Adam, who's a fellow YouTube channel creator, and share with you some of the images and videos from my visit to the actual warehouse in Shanghai. This leaves me to say thank you to a few folk who were really helpful in making this game happen. So a big shout out to Expedimix and Rahim for letting us use a lot of their shop's terrain for this game, and to Darren and his son for collecting that terrain and also for helping to build some of the lists. To my friend Philip, who really helped with the painting of armies, and it was his inspiration that got me painting for this battle as well. And then finally to the players, the members of our club, Fireteam Alliance, for the work that they did behind the scenes to create lists and build towards the terrain. Well done, guys. I really had fun. So in the meantime, to all of you, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I do appreciate your support, and happy gaming!